In the year 897 AD, a dead man was put on trial. His rotting corpse was dug up from its grave, dressed in papal robes, propped up on a throne, and formally charged with crimes against the church. A lawyer was appointed to speak on his behalf. A judge presided. Witnesses testified. And at the end of the trial, the corpse was found guilty. This actually happened in the Vatican, and it is one of the most bizarre, disturbing events in the entire history of organized religion. To understand why this happened, you need to understand the Catholic Church in the 9th century. This was not the unified, disciplined institution we know today. Medieval Rome was a brutal political battlefield. Popes rose and fell, often violently. Between 872 and 965 AD, there were no fewer than 24 popes. Many were poisoned, some were strangled, at least one was suffocated with a pillow. The papacy wasn't just a religious office, it was the most powerful political position in the Western world, and powerful men fought viciously to control it. Into this chaos stepped Pope Formosus. He served from 891 to 896 AD, and in that short time, he managed to make enemies so powerful, so vengeful, that they would not let him rest, even in death. Pope Formosus died in April 896 AD, apparently of natural causes. He was given a proper burial, a papal funeral. The church mourned. And then, 9 months later, his successor, Pope Stephen VI, did something that shocked even the brutally violent political world of medieval Rome. He ordered the body of Formosus to be exhumed, dug up from its grave. The decomposing corpse, 9 months dead, was dressed in full papal vestments, carried into the courtroom of the Basilica of St. John Lateran, and propped up on a throne to stand trial. The charges? That Formosus had illegally held the office of Bishop of Porto while becoming pope, violating church law. That he had betrayed political allegiances. That his papacy was therefore illegitimate. Every decision he had ever made null and void. A deacon was appointed to crouch beside the corpse and answer questions on its behalf. Pope Stephen VI himself conducted the prosecution, purportedly screaming at the dead body, demanding answers from a man who had been decomposing in the ground for 9 months. The trial became known as the Cadaver Synod. The verdict was never in doubt. The corpse of Formosus was found guilty on all charges. And then the punishment began. The papal vestments were ripped from the body. The 3 fingers on his right hand, the fingers used for papal blessings, were cut off. His body was dragged through the streets of Rome and thrown into the Tiber River like garbage. The message was clear. Formosus was not just dead, he was erased. Every ordination he had performed, invalid. Every priest he had appointed, unrecognized. Thousands of clergymen across Europe suddenly had their religious authority stripped away overnight. The chaos was immediate and catastrophic. But Stephen VI wasn't finished. He began purging anyone associated with Formosus, imprisoning enemies, consolidating power through terror. The people of Rome watched in horror, and then they'd had enough. The people of Rome rose up against Stephen VI. He was captured, stripped of his papal vestments, thrown in prison, and strangled in his cell just months after the Cadaver Synod. The next pope, Theodore II, immediately rehabilitated Formosus. His body, which had been recovered from the Tiber by a monk who witnessed it being thrown in, was dressed in papal robes once more and reburied with full honors in St. Peter's Basilica. The Cadaver Synod was officially declared null and void. Every verdict erased. But the madness wasn't over. The political chaos continued. Over the next several years, multiple popes reversed and re-reversed the decisions about Formosus. At one point, the rulings had been overturned so many times that nobody was entirely sure which priests were legitimately ordained and which were not. The Cadaver Synod didn't just embarrass the church, it destabilized it for a generation. and it stands today as perhaps the single most grotesque example of what happens when political power and religious authority become dangerously, catastrophically entangled. The Cadaver Synod lasted one day, but its consequences echoed across Europe for decades. It is remembered today as a monument to what unchecked power looks like when it loses all restraint. A man so consumed by political hatred that death itself wasn't enough to stop him. And the truly disturbing part? Stephen VI genuinely believed he was right. He believed the law was on his side. He believed history would vindicate him. Instead, he was strangled in a prison cell and remembered forever as the Pope who put a corpse on trial. If this story left you speechless, good. Subscribe, because every week we find another chapter of history so strange, so dark, so utterly human that no fiction writer would dare invent it.